top of the morning, and it is a beaut.
And the hope of the Irish as the future champion of the world.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio.
Here's Barry J. McDonald and the RightCom.com podcast.
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's podcast episode from RightCom.com. And today's podcast episode is entitled Advice I'd Give Younger Me. Now, I probably have mentioned something like this in one of the podcast episodes I've done a little bit back around my 50th birthday. I'd gone through a list of 50 things that I had kind of discovered about life and about myself reaching that age. Now, you're welcome to go back a couple episodes. You'll find, I think it's maybe 4 or 5 podcast episodes where I talk about those 50 things. So forgive me if I'm going to repeat myself in today's podcast episode, if you have listened to those, because I was just doing a TikTok video today and I was trying to think of some content that I create, and I thought maybe I'd go with, the old reliable, what would you say to yourself if you seen the younger version of yourself? Now, what I'd said in the video today is something that probably sounds like I had a huge ego. Now, what I said to myself, or what I would say to the younger version of myself, is that nobody is paying attention to you, or nobody is paying as much attention to you as you think they are. Now, when I started earlier on in my blog writing, when I got into fiction writing, when I got into doing podcasts, TikTok videos or whatever, that was a fear that held me back. Because I feared that as soon as I hit publish, the whole world would stop, the whole world would turn and look at what I've done, and then they would pass judgment on me. Now, it does sound like I've got a huge ego, that the whole world would give a rat's butt what I did at any moment in time. And yet I held myself back for the longest time. I was afraid of writing and releasing my first fiction book. I was afraid of putting videos on TikTok. I was afraid of doing YouTube, podcasts and everything. That was probably one of the major reasons that held me back. And maybe it's holding you back right now. But as I said, when you kind of say it like that, it does sound like me and you have a huge ego, that anyone would really care about what we do. So what I said in the video today on TikTok was that, not to hold yourself back because you have that thought, to put your content out there. And when you put your content out there, sometimes you might be a little bit disappointed in how little people are actually paying attention to you. But you should use that to your advantage, because any content that you are probably going to create today, especially at the start of your journey, whether that is blog writing, whether that's fiction, podcasting or whatever, your first pieces of content are going to be terrible. They are going to be the worst content that you are going to create, which is understandable. You're starting off, it's your journey, you're going to have a lot to learn, you're going to have to get over a lot of things, get some confidence in yourself. So the first couple of pieces of content that you are probably going to put out are going to be a little bit rough. But you will find that when you actually put that content out there, because no one is paying attention to you, that content will go unnoticed. But the longer you put that content out, the better you get at your writing or your presenting or your talking or whatever, you will find then that your audience will grow. But at least when your audience grows at that point, they are going to be met with a more polished version of you. Someone who is a better writer, who is a better podcaster, a better blogger, better TikToker or whatever. You'll be a lot better then when your audience actually comes. So if I was to say anything to, like I said, to my early version of me, or even to you if you are starting off on any creative journey that you're on right now, don't hold yourself back because you're afraid what other people are going to think. Because when you look at it, as I said earlier, for us to think that the whole world is going to stop, pay any attention to us, it does seem like you would have to have a huge ego to believe that. But again, we just kind of build up this notion in our head and we believe that everyone is going to be watching us. Everyone is going to be listening to us. Everybody is going to be passing judgment on us. No, it's not going to happen. Hit publish today. Put your content out there. As I said, you may be a little bit disappointed with how many people are actually paying attention to you. But keep going on, keep working on your craft, keep showing up so that when the larger audience does come along sometime in the future, there will be a better version of you to meet them. So put your stuff out there. Don't be afraid because no one is paying attention to you right now. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more from the Rightcom.com podcast, be sure to subscribe now for more tips, tricks, and ideas you can use to make more money from your words. See you in the next episode.